Ladies and gentlemen, how the heck are ya? Welcome back to Mystery Busters, and today we're going to be watching a channel called Chilling Scares. I don't think I've ever watched this channel before, so this is going to be very interesting. The video is called 6 Most Disturbing Abandoned Building Encounters Caught on Camera. Make sure you go over to their channel and subscribe, and like this video too. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. Let's do this.
Urbex Hill is one of the most popular urban exploration channels on YouTube, featuring raw footage from YouTuber Chris Hill's visits to a lot of the more extreme abandoned buildings in the US.
He's good, I like him.
From abandoned mental hospitals to decommissioned military facilities, Chris explores all of it, but specifically places that a lot of even the more extreme explorers wouldn't visit, at least not at night and alone like Chris always does. In January 2023, he uploaded footage of his visit to the now abandoned Paul Revere Elementary School in Cleveland. After almost a century of use, the school was permanently closed in 2015 due to declining enrollment numbers. Although there are allegedly plans to turn the abandoned building into a housing complex, as of 2024, Paul Revere Elementary is still abandoned and in terrible shape. From the moment Chris walks inside, it's pretty clear that the place hasn't been used in years and has been severely damaged by the elements, vandals, and the passage of time. The bottom floors are all flooded, the walls are peeling, the structure doesn't seem too sound, and there's rust, random papers, books, and all kinds of debris lying everywhere. Throughout the video, you can see messages written in seemingly fresh chalk on some of the whiteboards, confirming that people have been in the building recently. This was actually Chris's second visit to Paul Revere Elementary. When he uploaded footage of his March 2022 visit to the school, several people in the comments mentioned they had either been students or teachers at the school and talked about how incredibly sad it was to see their beloved childhood school ruined by abandonment and lack of maintenance. A little after 10 minutes into the exploration, you can hear some sort of ruffling sound and other strange noises coming from somewhere in the schoolhouse.
I've always been curious, how does the school get abandoned like that? I mean, it was recent too. What is that? 2015. Holy crap. 9 years ago already? Almost a decade already? What the hell, man? Time flies. I've just always been curious. It's like it's such a functioning school for like what, 40 years or something? And all of a sudden just like it has to be closed down. What, the government doesn't pay for these? I've always been wondering that. You know what I mean? Like these huge facilities just abandoned out of nowhere, like, and we can hardly afford a house. Yet you have buildings like this everywhere. Land, property, just abandoned.
Somebody's here.
As Chris turns a corner in the hallway, another person's flashlight can be seen shining down the hall. It looks to be just one person, who was likely either another urban explorer or a squatter. Still, at 1 a.m. in an abandoned building, it's obviously best to avoid drawing unwanted attention to yourself, especially when you don't know the other person's intentions, which is why Chris ultimately decided to run instead of making his presence known. Making sure to walk in the other direction to avoid running into anyone, he then heads to the library and explores the rest of the top floors. As he goes into...
I mean, it was obvious that he had a flashlight himself, so whoever was there, they were frozen, just observing, seeing who was coming out of the corner, so they already knew that he was there. Anyway, you know, I would just been like, hey there, like, you know, just exploring.
To the bathroom on the top floor, he has another encounter.
This place is freaking busy.
Somebody's in there.
Do you mind?
Scared the out of me.
Try to take a poop.
At the far end of the bathroom, what appears to be a human silhouette can be seen standing completely motionless. After the initial shock of the encounter, Chris draws his gun and goes back inside to confront the man.
Yeah, I know he has.
Hello.
I know he has a gun. I've watched his stuff before. I think I've seen this one actually. It's a mannequin.
Oh,
That's
it's
like
a toy.
a mind-boggling how it felt
Oh
when he
my
comes
God,
to check
that
it out,
scared
huh?
Out of me.
As it turns out, the silhouette was actually a scary mannequin that somebody set up, probably to scare away visitors. What's most eerie is that even though we can't know for sure how long the mannequin had been standing there before the footage was shot, for some reason it fell forward just in time for Chris to see it, the most reasonable explanation being from the sound waves bouncing off the wall. Most people would have left as soon as they saw the mannequin, but Chris continued to explore the rest of the school, seemingly unmoved by the horrifying experience he just went through,
Yeah, thing
though
is,
not before
oh my
clearing the
God.
entire rest of the bathroom. Sadly, some of the rooms in the school are filled with books, whiteboards, and other perfectly usable materials that could have been donated to another school before the building was abandoned. But nobody seemed to care enough to give them away before the school was abandoned. About half an hour into the visit, Chris climbs up to the roof, which in itself is pretty risky. Even if you don't care about getting caught by the cops, there's still a very high risk of the roof caving in, especially considering the state of the building when the footage was shot. Fortunately, he was able to climb down safely, but that's when a strange noise could be heard coming from the other end of one of the hallways.
Safe is still here. I wonder what's in it.
Oh! Dude, look at all those freaking books.
As Chris
man.
explores one of the rooms, a strange howl can be heard in the distance, and as he raises his camera, you can clearly see a shadow moving behind the door at the far end of the room. By this point, it's pretty clear that not only are multiple other people in the building with him, but now he's possibly being stalked. Once again, Chris draws his gun and prepares for an encounter, but he doesn't find anyone in any of the rooms. After this, he admits he's ready to call it a night and decides to head home, but not before this final encounter.
This place is weird as hell. Oh, here it is.
Oh wow, it's cold in there.
I remember the last time I explored it. Hello?
This place is way too busy, dude. Just get out of there.
Hello? What? Okay, I know I heard somebody coming down these stairs.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, just get out of there, bro.
As he
Just
struggles
get
to
out.
find his way out of the school, the sound of footsteps can be clearly heard on the stairway directly above Chris's head, but after running up and calling out to see if he gets a response, nobody acknowledges him. Luckily, he was able to walk away unharmed and has continued to upload videos of his visits to abandoned places pretty frequently. The Proper People is an urban exploration channel owned by Brian and Michael, two friends who travel the world in search of abandoned buildings. For the past 10 years that their channel has been active, Brian and Michael have built up a reputation for being a trustworthy channel that only uploads genuine footage of their explorations.
Okay.
In a niche of YouTube that's often plagued by cheap, fake footage from people trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, The Proper People has endured as one of the most reliable channels in the urbex space.
Ooh.
They gained their fame from explorations of genuinely cool places instead of faking creepy encounters or anything of the such.
Look at that.
In 2016, they uploaded a video of their nighttime visit to the Jemison Center in Northport, Alabama, often referred to as Old Bryce Hospital. From 1939 to 1977, the Jemison Center housed hundreds of psychiatric patients and acquired a reputation for treating them pretty harshly. Often referred to as the creepiest building in Alabama, Old Bryce was closed in the late 70s and has since been reclaimed by nature and become a hotspot for urban explorers from all over the world.
666.
As Michael
always.
and Brian approach the location in their car, there doesn't seem to be anyone around, and after driving around the grounds for a while, the two YouTubers get out of their vehicle to begin exploring, settling on the basement as the first area to explore. After more than 4 decades of abandonment, the entire complex is almost completely destroyed, and while
I just want to mention this one thing about 666. Did you know that the flesh is made of 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons? Do not idolize the flesh. The flesh is the beast. 666. Ancient stuff, man. Ancient stuff. The more you look into it, the more it starts to like, it's trippy, man. Do not idolize the flesh. Well, there you go. Little gold nugget there for you.
Walls are completely covered in all kinds of graffiti. Some of them aren't even there anymore. With the state of disrepair of the Jemison Center, there's always a chance that the structure could collapse on itself and trap Brian and Michael inside. But as they go up the stairs to explore the top floor, it becomes clear that an unsound structure is the least of their worries.
Whoa, look at this. Look at this staircase out here. Oh. There's somebody there.
No way.
Yes, I see their light. They're out there. I swear on my life. Right there. Should I say hello?
Yeah.
There's somebody out there.
Ahoy there, matey.
Let's go back to the car. This way. If it's somebody wanting to talk to us.
Let's go to the car now.
Oh yeah.
I don't see
As the
anyone.
camera pans to the window, the outline of a person holding up a light can be seen on the staircase on the opposite side of the building. Disturbingly, as soon as the uploaders turn off their light, the other person does the exact same thing, indicating they were watching and didn't want to be spotted.
Oh,
Chillingly,
okay.
if you rewind the footage to when the YouTubers arrived at the top floor, you can clearly see a light outside the window frame, but it's unclear if the light was coming from the same person who was watching them.
Oh.
After calling out and receiving no response, Brian and Michael decide to go back to their car
I thought that was like a street light or something.
to avoid getting jumped or worse. It's hard to know what exactly the intentions of the other person were, but what's even more disturbing is the fact that there were no other cars in the area when they arrived and when they left, which means that whoever was
That's
there had arrived
weird.
on foot and probably been there for a while.
Huh.
Ridgely Hospital was a women's psychiatric hospital in Lancaster, UK that operated for almost 100 years from 1916 to 2013. Famous for being one of the first psychiatric hospitals in the UK that fought for the humane treatment of mentally ill patients, Ridgely Hospital housed thousands of patients and used modern treatment methods such as electroconvulsion therapy to help patients with a range of disorders, from severe depression to obsession to mania.
Over 100
In April
years.
2022, YouTuber Exploring with Tom visited the site with 3 of his friends in the middle of the night. Throughout their visit, they were extremely loud and not aware of their surroundings, which is obviously not the best idea when exploring an abandoned building. Keep in mind that most of these abandoned buildings are still considered government property, which makes it illegal to trespass and explore the grounds. Still, if you disturb a hostile squatter's home by being obnoxiously loud, getting arrested would probably be the least of your worries.
I'm not scared of you. Oh yeah, well I am scared of you.
I think someone is doing that, to be honest with you.
What the?
After hearing some strange noises coming from one of the rooms, the 4 explorers call out to see if there's anyone in the building, and this is where things get a little disturbing.
He's like, nah, I'm out.
What? Be careful, be careful. There's someone there. Someone there. Just like, see what it is. It might be, he might need help. Hello? Hello? What?
Oh, run! He's still after us. Keep going.
Okay, keep calm, keep calm. Man, what the
Is that somebody following them still with the flashlight? Is that flashlight not with them?
As soon as one of the teenagers calls out, a man can be heard screaming from inside the room. Without thinking twice, Tom and his friends make a run for it back to their car, but disturbingly, the man isn't satisfied with just scaring them out of the building and ends up chasing them all the way to their car.
Wow.
It's unknown who the man was or what he wanted from them, but one of the theories that's been echoing in the comments is that he was probably a homeless person who got upset at the amount of noise Tom and his friends were making.
Yeah.
It's probably not too pleasant to have 4 rowdy teenagers burst into the abandoned building you call your home and start yelling, laughing, and swearing.
Yeah, squatter.
But still, it's good they were able to get away unharmed. In 2006, a 36-year-old man named Vincent Filya was living in the woods as a fugitive near Lugoff, South Carolina, after being accused of abusing his stepdaughter. In September of that same year, he saw a 14-year-old girl named Elizabeth Schoaf getting off the school bus and decided to abduct her. Posing as a police officer, Filya arrested Schoaf on a supposed marijuana charge and led her to his hideout in the middle of the woods. For 10 days, Elizabeth was chained up and abused by Filya in the underground bunker beneath the hideout in what can only be described as a nightmare come true. Still, the girl was extremely resilient throughout the whole ordeal and came up with a plan to escape from the horrifying situation she found herself in. If she wanted to escape, Elizabeth knew that she had to get Vincent to like her. For several days, she pretended to be in love with Filya, and eventually the kidnapper lowered his guard, even unchaining her and allowing her to play games on his phone. One night, while Vincent was sleeping, the teenager got a hold of his phone and sent a text to her mom saying she was in a hole across the Charm Hill, that there was a bomb, and to call the police. As it was later revealed, Filya had planned to draw in as many people as possible to the bunker to detonate a bomb and take the lives of the responding officers. However, he never managed to carry out his plan, for just a few minutes later the area was surrounded by helicopters and he was forced to surrender.
Wow.
To make a long story
Smart
short,
girl.
Elizabeth was able to move on with her life, and the monster named Vincent Filya spent the rest of his life in prison, where he died in 2021 in his cell. In December 2023, a YouTuber named Big Banks visited the abandoned hideout.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That she was young and she was able to manipulate him like that. I mean, who's the freaking evil one? Obviously him.
Where the terrifying crime took place. Immediately upon entering the house, the uploader finds something extremely disturbing.
I think this was the little girl's backpack.
What are
that
we
was left
watching?
here.
Okay, we're
What
gonna
a
have
sad sight to see.
Is this a compilation now of freaking abductions and poor kids? Like
Knowing that that happened.
A little girl's backpack can be seen on the floor outside the kitchen. Although it's impossible to confirm if it belonged to Elizabeth Schoaf, it is possible that it was planted there after the crime by somebody else. As he explores the living room, the uploader finds more creepy stuff, including a DVD of the horror movie The Strangers, a Halloween decoration next to one of the couches,
I apologize, this is still based on the same story.
shank, a broken baseball bat, and a ripstick. Obviously, the fact that these items were left behind is much more disturbing when you consider the history of the house.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking to imagine that some of the toys lying around the floor possibly belonged to the girl that Vincent Filya had stolen. Throughout the rest of the house, several objects and pieces of furniture, including the bed in the main room, look like they were placed there much later than 2006.
Yeah.
It's possible that the house was occupied by squatters, but because it was empty at the time the footage was shot, it's impossible to know what belonged to Filya, his common-law family, his victim, and the squatters.
Okay.
Thankfully, after being reunited with her family in 2006, Elizabeth went on to live a fruitful life, and the man who committed the heinous crime against her paid the price for it.
I was still in high school.
Holton Avenue is a notoriously creepy abandoned street in Cleveland, Ohio.
I was in grade 10, I believe.
In 1913, the first Hungarian Baptist church was built on that street, eventually falling into disuse and being left abandoned like the rest of the buildings on that street. In April 2016, the body of a woman named Jessica Coleman was found there after she went missing, but unfortunately her attacker was never found. In July 2023, Chris Hill went to the location to record footage of the abandoned church, as well as the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. From disturbing graffiti to broken glass and peeling walls, the church checks every box you would expect from a creepy, abandoned building. As he ventures into the basement, Chris finds signs that someone else had been inside the church, including an action figure of Melvin the giraffe from Madagascar that he mentions he doesn't remember seeing the last time he visited the location. Knowing that he's often not alone during his explorations, Chris set up several cameras throughout the church, and about
Yeah, that toy does look pretty new. Like, it looks fresh.
10 minutes into the exploration, one of the cameras on the main floor captures something pretty creepy.
That's weird.
Whoa! Whoa!
What's upstairs?
Yo, something just like...
Obviously,
appeared?
doors don't just
It
randomly
dis-
shut themselves, and
Oh,
as
it's
it
a
wasn't
door.
particularly windy that night, it's clear that someone was in the church with Chris. But after looking around for a bit, he can't find anyone in the church,
Yo, I thought that was like some kind of ghost, just like apparition, just appearing and then disappearing. It's a door.
and decides to head back outside to explore the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. If the church was in a messed up state, some of the houses are even worse, with most of them looking like they could collapse at any second. Around half an hour into the visit, he decides to explore one of the most dilapidated houses on the block, and as he's in the basement, the exploration takes a scary turn.
It actually looks like it's just underneath the house. It's not really a basement. Still creepy.
What? What's happening? Oh, someone lives there. Look. That's a little sheep. Someone must live there. Look. Yeah, someone's in there, man. Oh, oh man. Hey. Peace.
It smelled like I knew somebody was in there.
As he's exploring the basement, a sound can be heard coming from the ground floor, and when he goes back up to find out what it is, a person pulls back the curtain. Immediately apologizing
You know, I just have to say, like, I know if I was a squatter, I mean, it's not your place, so it's like, who gives a crap? Just, like, grab a section and make it look cozy. But, like, I would clean up in the surrounding areas a little bit, you know? You know what I mean? Just make it look a little bit more like home. Clean up all the trash, just throw it in the corner. But then I guess if you did that, then it would look like somebody's living there, and then the government would be able to tell, or the neighborhood, surrounding neighborhoods would know. I guess. Anyway.
Chris runs back out to the street, and that's when he realizes that despite the horrible state of the supposedly abandoned house, there was actually someone living in there with electricity. Clearly
Ooh.
most, if not all of the abandoned buildings on the block were housing people now who didn't want him there, something he never encountered on his first visit. And with this newfound discovery, Chris called it a night. In
So it's
February
electricity.
2020, urban explorer Ridham Ryder explored an abandoned house at an undisclosed location with his exploration partner Zay Clark. According to Ridham, the house used to belong to an old woman who had passed away.
Yeah, it looks
In
like
complete contrast to most abandoned houses, most of the woman's possessions had been left untouched, indicating that the house had not yet fallen prey to looters and squatters who often take things that aren't theirs. All throughout the house, the two explorers
That's awful, isn't it, though? Like, I mean, it's going to go to the trash anyway, or it's going to be owned by the government, and half the time I'm not really happy with our government anyways.
find everything from beautiful tableware and silverware
Look
to
at that!
ornately woven tapestries and a
Dude!
fully equipped bar.
How much would that
Based
be
on
worth?
the calendars they found in the house, the property hadn't been occupied since August 2018.
Bro, it's a party!
Just a few minutes
Everybody
into the
come
visit,
down!
Ridham and Zay find something incredibly sad and disturbing.
Always been worried about something like this happening, and then it did. When we walked in here, we took a few steps in the door, and we saw this on the ground.
What the hell, bro? That's the woman who passed away. She's probably been dead there for like weeks before someone can smell it. Like, she was probably rotting away, bro, because, like, she obviously has no relatives. And look, the cane is right there, bro. Look. So she probably was, like, walking and doing her thing and then just dropped, and this thing was probably somewhere on the ground with her. Oh, my God, man. Crazy.
Now, for those who can't figure that, figure out what that is a body stain. And you can see right there, there's a walker. So, unfortunately, it seems that the woman who had lived here had taken a bad fall, landed on the floor, and that's where she expired, unfortunately.
Holy crap,
It's extremely sad to us. It took us a good 20 minutes
No one
to
washed it?
decide what we're going to do here, and despite it feeling weird, we figured we still need to tell the story because this is a good reminder to everybody that you need to check on your loved ones. It seemed this
Yeah.
woman had passed and was laying here for God knows how long before she was found. So check in on your loved ones, guys.
Yeah, dude. Pull out
Right
some
in the middle of the
Coca-Cola.
hallway, a human body stain can be seen on the floor next to a walker, indicating that the old woman probably had a bad fall and couldn't get up. Sadly, she passed away and her body decomposed before anyone could save her, which is a terrifying way to die. There appear to be signs that the woman's family members tried to sort through her things after she passed away, but overall her various belongings are in perfectly good shape, including her bathroom supplies, which were still there at the time of the recording. It's hard to watch the footage without having conflicting feelings. Even though the house is beautiful,
Like, they didn't take the spoons or any of, like, I don't know. Fuck, man. She didn't have a good relationship with her kids? Did she have kids? I'm just curious now. I want to know the history of this woman.
and you can easily tell that the woman who lived there with her husband was a talented, outgoing person. It's incredibly sad to see how she met her end. Overall, the footage should serve as a reminder to check in on your loved ones every time you get the chance, because nobody deserves to pass away like that.
Yeah.
Since 2020, Rhythm with Ryder hasn't gone back to that location.
Wow. Okay, guys. Wow, that was really good. Very entertaining. That was holy. I didn't expect to see half of those ones. I was expecting to see, like, I don't know, paranormal stuff going on, but like, nonetheless, that was really good. And please, guys, if you could like this video so that other people can be recommended and see this channel, that would be fantastic. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.